And I know you had a chance to talk about it probably after the game, but and I know you hit quite a bit last year, but did do that. I mean, how was that outing just at the plate for you against UTEP?
Honestly, I wasn't really expecting much out of myself since I haven't had that many at bats in the past, which is fine. I am all for the team, whatever it takes. So just being able to have a few at bats here and there, it was really nice, and I just was like, you know what, whatever happens, sort of thing.
So nice first career home run though, right?
Yeah, I wasn't it was funny because Trinity was telling me to hit a home run before, and so I was like, okay, give me your powers, because she drops bombs every game, so it was nice to have that happen and just be like, oh my gosh, just sort of thing.
How's it for you guys to have a couple weeks here after you had all those tournaments on the road, to have a couple weeks here, people are coming in here, you guys can, you don't have any travel, anything like that. How's that been for you guys overall?
It's been a lot easier for school. I know, I've been really struggling having to take 2 days off of class and having to catch up. And so being at home is really nice. And the weather hasn't been too great, but, being able to have my family come and all of our families come is really nice, being able to be in it more comfortable in our own environment.
And now, last week, a bunch of games in just a few days' time, what do you really want to see out of yourself in the circle to continue to work on?
I'm really trying to sharpen up my pitches. I think they haven't been where they were when we were away, and so I'm really trying to focus more on my mechanics. I know during this period of time, in the middle of the lure, it's you get away from that and you're just trying to do your own thing, and then you get away from what you know. And so I think this period of time I'm trying to maintain what I was doing in the fall to now.
How's it felt? I mean, to not really have, not that you had the pressure on you last year, but I mean, with you guys winning, you've had this time to maybe work on some stuff, without seeing that drop off necessarily in the win-loss column.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's nice. I mean, I know I don't have to be my best to win, and I know that our lineup is so good from 1 to 9 or 1 to 10, and we're always gonna pull through if it's me or somebody else, and that's kind of a relief. And it's something we haven't had in the past, and I'm really grateful for it. And everyone is just ready to have each other's backs.
What do you think is about this team where it doesn't really seem like there is that letdown, just game in and game out, week in and week out, to be 19-1? What is it about that you think the team can just continue to roll every single game?
Yeah, I think we've just really embraced how we work with a purpose. I think that's just becoming our identity, and it doesn't really waver whether it's practice or no matter who we're playing, if it's a ranked team and not ranked team. We're just always competing at the same level. And we've kind of set that winning culture that's consistent every day.
And do you guys have to challenge that? But how do you, David kind of asked it to Aaron, how do you make sure there's not that letdown? Is it something you guys have to challenge each other during games or during practices, or how do you make sure you keep that same level of energy?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely something we've worked through, especially coming back a week early in January, working through that training camp. We kind of figured out who we were and what it looks like when things kind of slip up a little bit, and how we catch it and bring it back into what our standard is, our standard of work, and how we just go about our business. And now we're starting to know each other really well and start to feel when we get down a little bit, and we can bring it back up really quick, so we still keep winning.
How awesome is it to have to answer questions about letdowns?
I know, letdowns being 19-1.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, it's such a privilege. I mean, I feel like this is something we've worked really hard for, something I've worked for the last 4 years to get to this place. And it's just a result of all of us just continuing the pursuit.
I know there hadn't been a lot of people that gone through it like you have, but I can't remember who tweeted it out the other day. I mean, you guys had 19 wins all year.
My sophomore
year.
year.
2 years ago. I mean,
yeah.
How amazing has that transformation been for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's just come full circle. I mean, just the lessons that we've learned. There's a lot of humbling moments that we went through a few years ago, and it's just awesome to see all that pay off. To go through that and to see all the hard work and to see how our coaching staff has changed and how we've all just pushed through and have to adapt. It's all paying off now, and it's really, really rewarding.
Coach, I know you talked about it after the game, but going back to Erin's performance, I mean, making the most of her few at-bats that she has this year, and not even talking about what she did in the circle. How can you go back and look at that outing and just what did you think of it?
Well, I mean, I think it's incredible in the sense that last year she hit in our lineup almost every day. Specifically, if she was pitching, she definitely hit. And this year, we've been able to recruit our lineup a little bit more powerful. So she took a different role for us. And so, strategically there's only times where it matches up where she can be in our lineup. And so she's just done an incredible job to understand, like, her main purpose is the circle, and then anything else is just extra. And then the kid has swung really well all spring. Like, she's swung really well. We just have a really good lineup. And so when we were able to get her in, she takes her hacks, and, I told her, I'm like, we got to work on your home run trot. But short of that, like, well done.
Did you just rest Trinity just because,
Yeah, I think some of our kids are taking a lot of wear and tear, and when you have options to get some other kids some experience and some young kids at bats, we're going to always do that, just to ensure our depth is where it needs to be. So, whenever you have a talented roster, you have to continue to secure your depth and make sure someone else is ready if their number comes up.
Along those lines, not to get too numbers dorky here, but the runs are way up for you guys. I think you almost a third more runs than you had at this time last year. What can you account to that other than the fact that you are much more skilled at the plate?
Yeah, I think we were already good at the plate.
Yeah.
We already were offensively very strong, and that's how we beat people before. It was just outscoring them. But, I think we recruited well, and we finally got some freshmen in, and Zoe Jones that we knew was going to give us some numbers, and then to get a transfer like Trinity is huge, and then our kids that have been consistent for us are continuing to be consistent for us, and kids are setting the table that need to set the table. Yvonne Whaley has came in and done an incredible job of setting the table for us, and then letting our other big hitter kids get their RBIs, and they're hitting well with runners in scoring position. So, I think we're just kind of right now doing a really good job on multiple cylinders of kids setting the table that are table setters and other kids coming through that are RBI kids.
Ask Jessica this, how do you avoid, weird to say this, a letdown? And how awesome is it to be at this point where you're, fielding questions about not wanting your team to let down after such a great start?
I think they've done a very good job of showing up every day, whether that's in practice or whether that's in the cages or in the bullpens. They've done a really good job of showing up every day. And I think this group was so hungry coming in that hunger alleviates some of the complacency that sometimes you see whenever you start out hot. And so, I think our kids are just, they want to persevere, and they're a resilient group. So, we talked about rallying behind being our best self and winning. And so every other day that if a few kids don't buy into that, other kids are saying, like, you bought into winning, so get on board. And they're saying, get on the bus, And so that accountability within your program is really special.
Was there anything specifically from this tournament this last weekend at home that you learned about the team that you didn't quite know from what you had seen up to that point?
I thought I learned a ton about our team early. Like, so many things I learned about our team super early, just about resilience and fight. Even if they get down, they're punching back. They're not being a victim. They're totally just punching back. And then, they kind of came into this, like, we're a force, and we can be a force together. And so I think that was the best thing I could learn from our group early is, like, hey, man, like, even whenever you're down, you're really punching back. And, we haven't done that a whole lot since I've been here. So it's been fun to be able to say, like, if things aren't going your way right now, they can shift, just like the weather, And, that's been the coolest thing about this team.
And are there certain ways you see them respond? No, I think it was Friday where you guys took care of UTA early, but then it was scoreless against North Texas in 5. What do you see from the team when there's times like that where there's such a shift between those two games? Do you see, like, certain players step up, or there's just a confidence about the team? What do you really see in those type of moments?
Yeah, well, North Texas has a pretty good thrower. Like, she's had great wins this year, and we were her first loss, and she had played top 20 teams. So she was a good kid. So, it's just strategy on figuring out how to outwit them. And I think we ended up bunting to get the bases loaded, just to try to get some pressure off of our hitters. And then, Jess or Trinity comes through. So, but what's so cool is, like, multiple people throughout our lineup have come through consistently. It hasn't just been one kid here. We're waiting on, our big name kids to be the ones to come up, and you're counting, like, okay, in 5 hitters, it's going to be her. Like, you're not doing that now. You're like, okay, it's going to be Zoe. Okay, it's going to be Bree. Okay, it's going to be Jess. Okay, it's going to be Trinity. Like, that's been so cool, is that consistently we can hit through our lineup. And, you know, if you have your 8-hole in the top of your home run leaders, it's like, okay, that's hilarious.